Good day, everybody. How y'all doing? This is my weekly outlook for the week of Sunday, August 16th to Friday, August 21st. Be doing the same assets: AU, EU, GU, and USD JPY. Be going over what I predicted last week and how did that play out, and then I'll be getting into what I see this week. All right, so starting off with AUD USD, we are still buying. Last week my bias was a buy, and we're still buying. Right, structure has not been broken. Right, MAs are still good, and MACD is still bullish as of this week. So again, I am still looking for buys based off that information. Now, like I said last week, I do not think that it is wise to continue to buy because as we see, we definitely have low interest of buying momentum still. So it is not wise to continue to buy. Um, but until then, what we do need to see, I do need to see a break of structure before I do say that we are selling, whether it's temporary sale or long term sale. So until then, we are still buying. Okay. With that being said, though, targets targets last week did not get reached. Maybe a few pips away, right? But if we do continue buying this week, potentially can at least get to the start of this zone, which is where this horizontal line is, or possibly the next horizontal line. These are all just supply and demand, beginning of supply and demand candles that I've identified. Moving on to Euro USD. Last week my bias was a buy. This week my bias still remains a buy. Why? Looking at this trend compared to the previous trend, we can tell that we're currently in the impulse, right? MACD is also MACD is also bullish. MAs also saying buy, right? So we're looking for buys this week. Now, just like AU, we have a strong decrease in buying momentum, buying interest. Like so, it's just not wise to continue to buy. But until structure is broken, which structure needs to be broken down here first. Until structure is broken here, we will still be looking for sales. When structure is broken, then we can potentially look for sales, whether it's long term or short term. Targets last week did not get hit, but if the market does continue to go higher, I believe that we could get to the supply demand candle, beginning the supply demand candle. Also, strong structural point up in here. So that's where we're potentially going this week. That's and in order for us to look for sales, we do need to break structure first. All right, moving on. GBP USD. Last week my bias was a buy. The market did buy, or just like the previous assets, like it's played around majority of the week, but price just continue to move higher, right? Because everything is still saying buy. Looking at this week though, my bias is still a buy. This trend compared to previous trend, we are within this trend, so this is a correction, right? But because we did break structure, we are currently buying it at this current moment in time. Also, MACD is saying buy, MAs are saying buy, so we're just looking for buys at this moment. We made it to our targets last week. We're currently sitting in this zone. Will price continue to go higher? I'm unsure. With a strong decrease in buying momentum, right? Buyers' interest. So the market could potentially, price could potentially turn around. But we just have to be patient and see. In order for me to say that the market is selling, but I would need to see a break of structure to the downside. And if the price was to close above this high here, I would move my structural point, my amplitude level here, and then if price broke structure here, then it would be selling. But we don't have a close. I don't have a close above this candle yet. And then last but not least, USD JPY. Last week my bias was a sell. Um, And the market didn't go any lower. It didn't go any lower at all last week. Maybe it opened lower Sunday. Nope. So it didn't go any lower last week. All it did was just continue to pull back. So I still believe overall we are selling, but I yeah, I still believe we're overall selling. Um, just looking comparing this trend to this trend right here, right? This is why I see we're selling. We haven't even broke structure, but MAs have crossed. MACD has crossed to the upside. So potentially, if we do create another high, we potentially will be buying. Potentially, but this is something I would just like to sit on my hands with and just see how price moves. I don't want to jump the gun and guess and anticipate. I want to see things clear, right? So until then, until price either continues to be out this low or create a new high for some strong price action, just a definitive direction. I'm gonna sit on my hands, but I still am saying self right now. Mm-mm. Targets are still gonna be. I mean, we're at a super strong level, so that's probably. I mean, we did have a lot of rejection. So yeah, buy series of sell if we do continue to go ahead and go lower. Other than that, that's my outlook for this week. We know where we at. We know what's going on. We know where price potentially go. So now it's time to just be patient. That's it. Thank y'all.